Man-eater flipping face up, he will eat up any monster you put in front. Gosh, I had to do it. Man-eater bug was in fact one of the better one-for-one monster removal cards of those times. Being able to surprise your opponent by destroying one of their powerful monsters, it's so rewarding. Watch them fall to a middling man-eater bug. Just do be careful. It can also destroy your own monsters if your opponent doesn't control any, and it also can destroy itself. Ugh, that's gross. Nevertheless, that doesn't change the fact that man-eater bug is one of the first, most effective and essential flip effect monsters that this game has ever had. Therefore, man-eater bug will always be a true pioneer of flip effect monsters. I'm putting these two together since they practically share the same purpose, monster removal. Let's start up with Trap Hole. Trap Hole was actually considered a staple back in 2002-2003. As a matter of fact, it was relatively one of the most effective trap cards during its time. This card was a key card during its time because it could destroy any monster that your opponent would normal or flip summon with 1000 attack or higher. As for Fissure, this card was also considered a staple, as it can easily remove those pesky 2k defensive walls that otherwise your monsters can't simply get over, such as Giant Soldier of Stone, Mystical Elf, Wall of Illusion, just to name a few. Remember when I said in previous videos that games don't end in 2 turns? To make matters worse, Swords of Revealing Light was actually a pain to deal during this time of the game. Before there was MST and Heavy Storm, there was a card called D-Spell. You might be scratching your head right now and questioning me, what is D-Spell? D-Spell was actually that kind of spell card in which works kind of like MST, but it doesn't, where technically MST will actually destroy the spell or trap. If you actually activate this card, if your opponent has like possibly a spell or a trap, let's say they have a spell. If you have a spell, you have to flip that card face up if it's a set card. If it's a spell, it gets destroyed. If it's a trap, you flip it face up and you set it back down. Obviously, you can't destroy the trap. It only targets spells. Surely that card was pretty mediocre. However, there wasn't any other means of destroying spells until the introduction of MST and Heavy Storm and other much better spell and trap card removal cards. And Swords of Revealing Light was actually one of the first cards to ever present the word stalling into the game. Surely no one enjoys that at all, myself included. And whoever activates Swords of Revealing Light first will get 3 turns to actually get a setup, so you can actually summon monsters to your side of the field, try to swarm, or possibly bring a stronger monster such as a Summon Skull or a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Needless to say, this card was actually pretty darn annoying. Polarization is that card that became the gateway to introducing us to fusion summoning. If you had the right fusion material monsters on your side of the field, you can very well perform a fusion summon. Much like Dragon Ball Z's fusion technique. Even on this day, fusion summoning with the use of polarization will always leave a taste of satisfaction. My personal favorite fusion monster when I used polarization was Black Skull Dragon, basically a fusion monster that consisted of Red Eyes Black Dragon and Summon Skull. Dark Hole will always be one of the best mass monster removal cards in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the day, it was easy for players to obtain Dark Hole through the access of Yugi and Kaiba starter decks, and one of those few cards that doesn't get regarded as power creep. Just do be careful when you activate this card, because at the same time of destroying your opponent's monsters, it can very well destroy your monsters as well. I just love the chaos. However, there's another particular card that does it much better unless you're chaotic as myself. And that card is Raigeki. What Dark Hole does best, Raigeki simply does it better. Not only does Raigeki get rid of your opponent's monsters, but it only gets rid of your opponent's monsters. Not to mention that this card is still extremely rare to obtain and expensive as well, despite the many reprints it gets nowadays. If you ever have a first ed Raigeki, be sure to protect it with your dear life. Or you can sell it for a quick cashola. Drop down your pitchforks, guys. I'm aware that Blue Eyes White Dragon is the poster boy of this set, and without a doubt, the monster is truly legendary. Pun intended. Surprisingly, this card is still played as of today. Compared to Dark Magician and Red Eyes Black Dragon, however, they just don't measure up to Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes is still the real deal, and having a first set of these babies is a treasure that must be cherished. Number 3. Pot of Greed. No, I did not place Pot of Greed at 3 simply because greed and 3 rhymed. Or perhaps I did. Nevertheless, Pot of Greed will always be one of the best draw cards that this game has ever had. You simply draw 2 cards. Yep, easy as that. A straight +1, and it's still on the forbidden list. For now. No matter how trashy that new errata effect will be, or if they ever decide to keep its original effect, nothing can beat the greed of Pot of Greed. Exodia, obliterate! That never gets old. I'm placing every single piece of Exodia at number 2, and no, simply because it's at 2 doesn't mean it's crap. Exodia, if not, is even more iconic than Blue Eyes White Dragon. Fight me. Whether you hate or love Exodia, you gotta respect its legacy. Being able to pull all 5 pieces of Exodia will always be glorious, while at the other end it will probably leave a salty taste in one's mouth. And believe me, I've been on both receiving ends. Oh, if you do have a first edition set of Exodia, beware of rare hunters. Whether you agree with me or not, Monster Reborn will always be a revolutionary card, even more than Pot of Greed. Whether this card has been on or off the forbidden list, its legacy will never be tarnished. Not to mention that Monster Reborn is actually one of the best cards you can top deck with. Remember that phrase that Yugi will always say, believe in the heart of the cards? Well yeah, Monster Reborn actually defines that perfectly. I just wish that Monster Reborn would never go away. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, I think Monster Reborn is the best card in the Legend of the Blue Eyes White Dragon set. Welcome back, dear old friend. Do you agree or disagree with my picks, guys? What do you think are the best cards in the set? Be sure to drop a comment down in the comment section below on your thoughts or any card in particular that could have made it in this list. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. We will rise together, yeah! Until then, I will see you in the next video, guys. Peace out.